strategic nature of the islands. And they have some unique strengths that are present among the people. It's like a mini India. All kinds of people from all walks of life, from all parts of our country have made Andaman Nicobar their homes. And you'll be surprised to know that while different cultures flourish, we have all kinds of languages being spoken: Bengali, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Punjabi, English, Hindi. But Hindi is the link language.
Wonderful.
And there has been no instance or history of any strife or discord among people in Andaman.
So this whole concept of governance, how we see it in terms of last mile delivery, that's been a core area of your work in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. You wanted to reach out to the last person. Just share that journey with us.
First, I had to define what my role was. And let me explain that I am not only the head of the constitutional authority there as the Lieutenant Governor, but I am also the administrator, the chief administrator. And therefore, responsibility for all administration, whether it is revenue, whether it is law and order, whether it is forest, environment, security, everything rests on my shoulders. There is no legislative assembly. We have a lone member of parliament from there, and we have the Panchayati Raj institutions. So there is local self-governance. Not only the role of an administrator, but I was also, in some ways, in ways more than one, a representative of the people. So while taking decisions, I had to temper the pure administrative need and requirement and balance it against the expectations of the people and what they want. And I think it took me a short time in which to get through to the people. What I did was that as soon as I arrived in Andaman Nicobar, that was 7th of July 2013, I think within a month I had visited all the islands which I inhabited. We have 556 islands and atolls in Andaman, spread over 750 kilometers, and out of which only 37 are inhabited. And we have a large number of particularly vulnerable tribes, almost 28,000 in number. And therefore the first thing I did was visit all the islands where people live and tried to interact with all sections. And I think today I'm confident that most of the people in the Andaman recognize the Lt Governor, and I have their confidence. So once that was done, I was able to establish a clear pattern in my mind as to where we were today and where we needed to go.
So what were some of the things that required your attention immediately?
I think Andaman Nicobar lie 1200 kilometers from mainland India. And they are just a few hundred kilometers from Southeast Asia. Spread 750 kilometers in the Bay of Bengal, this group of 556 islands give India great strategic and economic advantage. Strategic advantage because we dominate the Bay of Bengal. We also dominate the sea lanes of communication that pass from the west to the east. Virtually 60% of the world's sea traffic passes through the Malacca Straits, and the Andaman Nicobar Islands actually sit on top of those lanes. Economically, we have 1962 kilometers of almost 1/4 of India's coastline, and we have almost 30% of India's economic zone that is government around Andaman. The Government of India established the first operational tri-service command in Andaman and Nicobar, the Andaman Nicobar Command. It's named after the Andaman Nicobar. Now, as far as the challenges are concerned, the spread of the islands itself, it lies in Sea Split Zone 5. Sea Split Zone 5, there are almost 80 to 90 earthquakes in and around Andaman and the Sumatra Indonesian belt every year. And most of them are quite high on the Richter scale. 2004 tsunami or another. So most of the people do have this consciousness. Also, there is lack of resources in Andaman Nicobar, and there is a very prolonged rainy season. And therefore, your working season is restricted just to 5 to 6 months or 7 months. And you have to get bulk of the resources from the world. Employment opportunities, economic activity is rather restricted. In fact, the government is the largest employer. And because of the conditions that I have mentioned, there is also an isolation feel in that country sometimes. There is lack of entrepreneurial spirit. The spirit of free enterprise seems to be missing. Therefore, I think biggest challenge that I faced, which I decided was to redevelop and rekindle this spirit of free enterprise. Because while the government tries to do everything, and we are a union territory and we are very ably supported by the central government. In fact, I recently met, when I met the Honorable Prime Minister, the Home Minister, and the Finance Minister. They assured me that whatever is required for the well-being and welfare of the people and for the strategic nature of the islands will be provided. With that assurance, we are moving forward. But the government cannot meet the aspirations of every individual. We can create the environment. We can create the setup in which individual enterprise must. There are challenges to achieving this. The first